Well, my first election was legend. Nobody expected me to win, including myself. I had practically no resources with which to campaign except my shoes and my handshake. Trying to convince them that I was the person they should vote for. And the minute they said they would, then I hit them up for a lawn sign.
Would you be willing to put a lawn sign on your lawn? Can we put one
Yeah,
on
sure,
the last
you
week
can
of the
put
election?
one on, sure.
Yeah.
By the time that campaign was over, if you lived in the 5th Councilmanic District, you met me 6, 7, 8 times.
I have not been endorsed by any politicians. I've not been propped up by any city lobbyists. It has renewed my faith as well as thousands of other people's faiths in the democratic process and the political process, that someone from the community can stand on his own and win.
You know, I've changed in a lot of ways, but my core values have not changed, and who I am inside has definitely not changed. I've become a good practitioner of my trade, of getting things done. I'm much more sophisticated and experienced as an elected official, as a politician than I was then. My voice is probably a little deeper. I have more suits today than I did in 1975, maybe 2 more. But in terms of my fundamental values, that hasn't changed a bit. Well, this is the famous rectangle office at the Hall of Administration. Very nice wood-paneled office arranged by the supervisors of yore. I wouldn't have spent this kind of money on an office like this, but I have no problem sitting in it. It's nice. Every day, issues that are of importance to every member of our society crosses my desk. Transportation, healthcare, public health, issue of the environment, of child welfare. Arts and culture is a huge issue in this county. All of those issues come across my desk, and I can actually do something about them. I suppose I'll miss a lot of the action, just the ability to get stuff and big stuff done. You know, very few people have an opportunity to play at that level and do the kinds of things that supervisors can do. Well, I've been running consistently since 1979 when I quit smoking. Running gives you an opportunity to see a city like no other way. You see it at the ground level, you see all the potholes, all the sidewalk cracks, you see all the homeless, you see what's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You feel, you smell, you connect with the communities you're running in. Running and exercise has always been a weight control measure for me. But then about 14 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So running became a matter of life and death from my point of view. So I've been running quite religiously. It keeps my weight down, it keeps my blood sugar down, it keeps my appetite down, and so it's a win-win all the way around. And it makes you feel good. It's also the one time in the day that I have to myself. No telephones. I can think without interruption, and some of my best ideas have come, or worst ideas, I suppose, have come from my running. So depending on which idea you think is my best one and my worst one, it probably happened somewhere in Hancock Park while I was jogging. Well, there have been so many things that my fingerprints are on, and along with a lot of other people who helped. When I think of transportation and the Orange Line busway in the San Fernando Valley, the most successful busway in the country. This has been a hugely successful project, and it's changed the lives of a lot of people. When the line first opened 10 years ago or so, I came out here just about every day to see how it was going, because this was my baby. Because I was opposed on this project from one end to the other. Every neighborhood had a reason why they didn't want it, but it cried out for being built. We never thought it would ever get to 30,000, ever. And 10 years into the project, it's now busted through 30,000. And this happened during the recession, when the economy gets going full bore, this ridership is only going to increase. One of the collateral benefits of the Orange Line was the landscaping that we did along the 13-mile right-of-way from North Hollywood to Warner Center. Now you have basically a park with a jogging path and a bicycle path that goes all the way across the San Fernando Valley. It's an amazing amenity Metro has created.
All right, it's 352.
The only thing what I can say, he helped a lot of people. He helped Los Angeles. People having problems, and actually he was not a baseball man. When he had to speak, he was speaking, And I don't think anybody here knows you as long as I know you. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Whatever it is. I appreciate what you have done for the community, for the people.
Thank you.
And you're a great friend. I'm still friends with you.
Well, this is part of a group of people who have been getting together every Sunday morning for decades. When they're in full force and the election season is full force, you have candidates for statewide office, for local office, for sheriff, for governor, all come to meet these guys and get their support because these guys have big mouths. they get the word out. So they got me elected the first time, so it's nothing to sneeze at. And when I think of my own career, both as a social activist for Soviet Jewry and as a political figure, I think of this group, this band of brothers. Yay! Thanks, man. When you look at 20,000 or 80,000 homeless people in the county of Los Angeles, it's so daunting that you go on to do the easy things like traffic congestion. But the fact is that if you look at it as 50 people at a time, you can solve the problem of 50 people at a time. Well, this is Step Up on 5th in Santa Monica, part of the Step Up empire, which has done wonderful work in housing homeless and addressing the issues that rendered them homeless in the first place. The Housing First model is the model that's working all over the country. It's working here in Santa Monica. Hello. Can I come in?
Sure, I'm sorry.
So what's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas. I'm Zev.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
You want to have a seat? Or?
Sure. It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So how did you get hooked up with Step Up?
Well, when I paroled from prison, I was doing an outpatient program for addiction. I fell into the program. It was pretty much what I needed at the time. Their motto is housing first.
Right.
And I believe that, because it's really hard to get stable if you're homeless.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Some people say they're homeless because they want to be homeless, and not because of circumstances beyond their control. What do you say to that?
I don't think anybody wants to be homeless. When you're on the streets, you have nothing to lose. So what's going to stop you from committing crimes? What's going to stop you from doing drugs? Whatever. But when you have a home and you have something worth, not that you don't want to lose, then that makes all the difference. That's where housing first comes in.
Thank you very much for letting us into your home. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Good
and
luck.
Thank you for making this happen.
My pleasure. I've always been a sports fan since I was a little boy. The job I really wanted all my life was Vince Scully's job as the play-by-play announcer for the Dodgers. Good thing I didn't wait. And I just love sports. And when I got to UCLA, I loved going to the football games, and I loved going to the basketball games. Who wouldn't love going to the basketball games when I was there? We never lost a national championship in those days. My presence on the sidelines of the UCLA football game is really the little boy in me. I also transact a lot of business on the sideline. I've represented UCLA as a city councilman and as a supervisor for almost 40 years. So if it's not the chancellor, it's the dean of the medical school. If it's not the dean of the medical school, it's the vice chancellor in charge of health services. And there is a value in my being there, but quite honestly, it's the little boy in me. Some of my fondest moments in my life come from the experiences I had at UCLA.
There's the lake. See it? Can you see it straight ahead? Oh, those are ducks. Look at the ducks.
The reason the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area is a reality today is not because of any single politician. It was a movement that started from the ground up, from citizens who had the vision, from individuals who said, why can't we preserve this? Why can't we have a little bit of Yosemite in our own backyard? And that's how we've exponentially multiplied the amount of open space that now exists in the Santa Monica Mountains compared to where it was 30 years ago when the idea of a Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area was first conceived.
Hey, scary ducks.
Scaredy ducks. Sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
All right. I like to be snuck attacked.
All of this is about Sadie and all the other Sadies that are coming along in the years ahead. They deserve the opportunity to experience what we've all experienced in our lifetime. And there's a lot to experience here. And 20, 30, 40 years from now, 100 years from now, Los Angeles will probably be all developed, but the Santa Monica Mountains will be a respite from all of that civilization. And I'm intent on keeping it that way, and I think we've done a pretty good job.
The horse behind me.
Yeah. Hey, look at that bridge. You see that bridge over there?
Let's try to go on it.
For us, money was not important. Wealth was not an objective. My dad was a renter until he was 54 years old. What mattered here was relationships. That was the currency. When people needed help, the community came to their aid. You know, the values that are instilled in you in your first 5, 6, 7 years of life never leave you. So how long have you lived here?
So about going on 17 years
17
now.
years,
Yeah.
down on 724?
Yes.
That was my address. So I lived here 58 years ago. So you love this neighborhood?
I've been here all my life. I
Yeah.
love it. I don't think I'll go anywhere else.
Yeah, it's hard to get the neighborhood out of your system once
yes,
you've
it
been
is.
here. Well, it's great to meet you.
Same here.
I've always wanted to come knock on the door of 724 North Breed.
Feel free to do it anytime.
Appreciate it. If
Same
I can
here.
ever help, let me know too.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Dave.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much.
Okay.
All right. So when I think back in my own life, in the first 8 years of my life here in this apartment in Boyle Heights, I wonder what the probabilities were that I would have ended up governing the second largest city in America and helping to govern the largest county in America. What were the odds? There are two places I go when I get depressed, a delicatessen or a LA Philharmonic concert. Mostly my constituents, they know what we've done for the Phil and for the Bowl and Disney Hall, and they love me for it. So I only get positive reinforcement. So it's been a part of my family, it's been a part of my experience, it's been a part of my growing up and my cultural maturation. And then I found myself as a county supervisor to be fortunate enough to be the people's agent and overseeing this facility and making sure that it got the kind of attention and investment that it deserved. How you doing? Good.
I've got here. I'm with my shirt hanging out, half dressed, and there's
How are ya?
distinguished member of the political elite here,
Elite,
and here
yeah,
I am
the
looking like a
political
mess.
class.
How are you?
I'm fine. How
Good
are
to see
you?
you. Very
Welcome
well,
back.
thanks.
So this is the man who conducted the Lincoln portrait.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
it was
once in a
fantastic.
lifetime experience
Brilliant.
for me.
We'll have to
Yeah.
do it again then.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Good.
I saw the entrance, Yaroslavsky entrance.
Yeah. The great gate of Zev, right? I have to say is kind of neat. I've never been one for naming things after people who are still alive, but I'm glad they made an exception in this case. I've had a storied career in elected office in Los Angeles County, and it's largely been because the people who I've represented were the kind of people who were willing to take a chance on a young kid, a couple of years out of graduate school, who didn't know really very much about municipal government, and give him a chance to do his thing. I hope I've repaid my constituents with my work ethic and with the issues I've taken on. I say thank you. Thank you for giving me and Barbara and the staffs that have worked with me the opportunity to serve. I wouldn't have traded it in, and I still wouldn't trade it in for any other career, except for Vince Scully's job.